What was that?
Perfect.
You want to be that guy? Wow.
Good morning, DCTV. We have me, your host, the Data Lord today, and Don Fron from the Don Fron Show. He's joining us today. We have an interesting show today. Last show of the year. Hope everyone has grown throughout this year. You look back and you're proud of what you've accomplished, and if you're not, make some corrections. Let's not let past failures become indicative of future events. Yeah. So let's look at a few things. Don, did you want to go over any of the charts? I do have charts prepared.
I'll send it.
Okay.
I have one question about the halving charts.
Yeah.
After this, before the stream. Yeah. Go over your charts.
Wow. How's everybody doing, by the way? Comment down in the YouTubes how you doing and what you're planning to do for your New Year's Eve party. Me and the wife and crew, we're going to be playing some custom games of Halo Blood Gulch style. So that's kind of how we've formed tradition. We just kill each other on Blood Gulch. so here is our lovely Bitcoin S-curve halving cycle. So
my question is, how are you going to feel when that breaks?
When or if?
When?
I'll feel like it's deviating from the norm and it'll snap back because it's magnetic. That's kind of what it's shown to be.
Because this is never broken, right?
Yeah. Historically, it may flick through where we have the bottom, but it magnetizes right back to it. So,
what if that doesn't happen?
If that doesn't happen, buy a lot of Bitcoin. That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Because I'm starting to think that I wanted to have this conversation with a crypto nerd because it's the one thing that hasn't happened yet. And I'm starting to think that is going to be the reason we get that capitulation sell-off. So I wanted to see, like, do crypto nerds freak out? Is that the reason they finally sell? Because they've been holding their whole life, because up until now they haven't been wrong. Because you guys have been talking about this and it hasn't, faulted. You guys are right as far as this one goes.
Yeah.
But we know nothing in the market does last forever. And so anyway, that's what I was looking at. I was trying to find the excuse as to what would cause capitulation, what would cause a sell-off, who's holding it now. We know it's the holders now. So it's margin calls, or we scare the nerds. Like, that's really the only dominoes we have left.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you personally, I don't make HODL decisions based on price action. I might make buying decisions based on price action, but not HODL decisions. So if I bought coins that I'm holding, I don't care what the price is. I'll never sell that, because it's a matter of principle. That if I were to allow that to be liquid, there is a potential that could be used against the crypto space by traditional investors, basically buying it up and not selling it back to them, but instead giving them like a wrapped Bitcoin, right? So I think that there's some principled people in the space who are like, we're not going to do that. We're not interested in letting people just take what is rightfully ours, because we've worked too hard to build the space to where it is now, just to let the traditional market take it over from us. Does that make sense?
I feel like that's gonna happen.
It'll happen to many, but not to all. And those who hold long term will be rewarded for it, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the prize for holding crypto during the wild west, when it eventually does.
Yeah, and every time that I've had paper hands, I look back at it and I want to kick myself. So I've learned enough times that I don't do that. Like I mentioned this before, but back when Bitcoin most recently hit the 3K range, I had a bunch of CPUs that I had been like mining Monero and things like that on, and I, sold them because for whatever reason the CPUs were highly in demand. So I was able to sell them for a really good profit, and I had a bag of USD that I could really scoop a few coins with, and I bought guitars instead. And I looked back at that and I was like, why did I do that? That was so freaking stupid. And so I keep the guitars to remind me of how I got to quit playing myself.
Well, at least it wasn't pizza.
Yeah, well, that's
at least you
true.
keep a guitar.
That's true. So this is the monthly, and I want everyone to pay attention to the fact that we are in unprecedented territory right now. Like, we're actually starting to flirt with the peaks that we had over here in 2018, and that's a good thing. Only up is a bad thing because only up is not sustainable. And so when we had this really confusing time where it was just up, and everyone's like, this is not how markets move, like just a straight skateboard ramp up, Tony Hawk's doing a McTwist over this huge gap and then land, this looks like a mega ramp from the X Games. That's my problem. And so that's not sustainable. And I think that when you have events like that, you really ought to be careful because you're playing with gamblers' money. You're not playing with people who are probably very educated in how the space works. So for example, when we had this big old ride up here, we had to come down because we had no history of any of this space. I'm looking at something I'm not sharing it. Scrooge McDuck. So yeah, sorry about that. So we're at this point over here where there's no history in this entire range here. Like when we were in 2017, if we were to zoom in and look at that, the same kind of thing happened where we really didn't have any history or reason to just hit all the way up here and hit 20K, right? Hitting 20K was a big freaking deal because we just had no previous history of going that high. And people were like, see, Bitcoin is worth something. Well, it is, but the people who were buying here weren't buying because they understood the principles of Bitcoin. They just saw only up and were like, hey, bro, you got to get into this. And so a bunch of frat bros basically egged each other on, and that's how it got so high, I think, and
I jumped in just because everyone's buying. If stupid wants to pile in, man, let it happen and just take their money.
Yeah, and 2017 was ICOs, right? That was when Ethereum's like, yo, we have the initial coin offering that you can drop on ERC20 tokens. And so people were like, okay, cool. I can drop an Ethereum token and call it, Puppy Invest for you. And I can promise people, I can make a website just like the .com bubble. I can tell people hey, this website's super, super sick. Trust me, we're going to totally take this money and we're totally going to put it into saving puppies. And then the website goes offline and it just disappeared. So that happened to enough people where they're like, I don't think crypto's a scam, but I think there's scammy money here. And so I'm just going to take my profits and get out, So that's what happened. But it was okay that happened. Because again, from, 2017, we hit this 6K range. And in my opinion, it kind of should have stayed around 5 or 6K if it was going to be like properly evaluated. It was undervalued in 2016, but it kind of hit that number and was just nah, only up is good. And so that's what we had happened. Only up all day, right?
Yeah. I bought it from 16. I think I sold it at 17 something. I don't know. It was great. So the crypto nerds think there was a reason for that crash? I didn't. Yeah, I made fun of Bitcoin back then.
Yeah, you were part of r/Buttcoin. Nice, dude.
No, I was just
that's the Reddit where people
right for the pump it up. Everyone said oh, it's digital, and I was like, cool. What do you think your bank account is? That's all I heard was that it's digital. It's going to take over, and I was like, well, you're kind of stupid because we already have digital money. When's the last time you touched an actual dollar bill? Yeah. So there was just no reason for me to believe in any kind of crypto. It was a great ride though. Made a bunch of money off of it.
Yeah, not understanding like the shift to no, you're in custody of your keys, and there's no like lord over you on the network. There's no like.
But do the nerds think there was a reason for that pumping up? Like,
Yeah,
I get the pump. Why did it crash for the crypto?
It crashed because people weren't delivering ICOs, and so people
Okay,
had enough of that, and it soured it. So the Bitcoin money was happening because of what was happening in Ethereum. People were taking their Ethereum profits and dumping it into Bitcoin, and that was causing Bitcoin to keep going up as that was continuing to happen, right? And there was also tons and tons of altcoin cycles during this period of time, and so people were throwing, you know, huge bags into altcoins that just looked like they were kind of at like a testing point, like you know, hitting support. People just buy a bag and just, you know, pop a little limit sell higher up, and then if it actually did go up while they're sleeping, they'd catch it, and if it didn't, all they would, if it was just slowly going up, they would just keep raising their stop loss, and so they, you know,
I'd be impressed if anyone was doing that. I mean, there was. That's literally how I trade. So like, that's
Peter's community was doing that in general, because Peter was showing on stream pretty frequently how you do that. So shout outs to P. Saddington. The boys started it all, but it's true. It's true. So it's okay applying that like between 6K, like right in here, and 20K, we had no support whatsoever because we hadn't gone down, and so we ought to go down. And look, we caught right here this like 3.5, and then it started trying to test this point right here, this 5K, and we beat through it, and people were like, oh, only up, and so that's what happened. And that this whole section over here is healthy, because this middle section where we were kind of just riding up and down, what that was doing is creating actual support and actual resistances that we can refer to in the future. And so
what you're talking about
here we are. What do you mean?
What you're talking about is, it's called we typically call it price discovery. We're just going to push until we find the bumpers. And then you find out where the buyers are, where the sellers are.
Yes.
And then you really figure out where the big players are.
And that's exactly what happened. And in that whole rally in, you know, this space right here, we had these wicks, and we are looking at the monthly, but it appears that things inside that monthly are actually what we're hitting as our floor, right? We bounced right off it with this wick here. The question is there going to be another wick that tests that? And I would say there probably is. Is it going to be a monthly wick? I doubt it. But you know, we're clearly riding this line, and so the question is, are we going to break through that like 15.5 line? Yes. And if we do, where's the next tree branch it hits? Right.
I'll tell you exactly. You're on the monthly.
Don hits tree branches all the time.
Starting to look more like really making a pit stop at 10K.
I'm kind of banking on it, honestly. I have a bag that's ready to be deployed as soon as we're hitting those sub 12.5 numbers. If we hit that,
I'm debating on changing mine to 7.
Wow. I'd be cool with that. Honestly, I'd probably sell some cars and
think so.
Buy them back a little later. Yeah.
Even just looking at your chart, but without any zones on anything like that, I would draw it out. Right at that, there's a zone at 6,300 to like 78. We'll call it $8,000. And yeah, 85, 65 to 85. So go back to your monthly chart. I'll show you what I'm looking at.
For you, I will.
Zoom out a little bit. All right, you see that last little dip down? You see those 2 candles?
Yeah.
Down a bit, 65 to 8,500. Right, your line is on it to the right. There you go. To the right, a couple more. Couple more. There we go. That red one and that green one, the big volume. Yeah.
These two here.
That's typically where I would zone something out. Not looking at anything. That's where I would call the bottom. I'd say we're probably going to bottom right about there.
just from TA, and the question is, will
Yeah.
market sentiment drive that? And I'd say at this point with AI especially, you can pretty easily tell how people's emotions are going to be manipulated. It's starting to become a science of how to manipulate people, unfortunately. But a lot of big money has those algorithms, and they use them. That's what Facebook functionally was doing, experimenting on input output. If we give people this stimulus, what do they talk about? You know, oh, it makes them depressed. Okay, well, if they're depressed, what decisions do they make? You know, and that was recorded. But yeah, so all of this to say, I think we have amazing buying opportunities coming up soon, and it's not a bad idea to DCA if you aren't going to be disciplined at watching the market on, you know, a 4-hour time frame. And that being said, Dawn has a really smart way of DCAing where you're DCAing into basically a stable coin if you're, you know, waiting for a buying opportunity, and then once you have that buying opportunity, you can just deploy that money right then and there and scoop your bag of Bitcoin or what have you. So
yeah, which is why you can't. No one can ever make fun of me if it never hits $7,000. They can't say, "Ha, I never got there." Like, I'm still buying it anyway. But you know, just if it gets there, I buy more. But all part of the plan, so I'm never emotional about it.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
If it goes down, that's right. If it goes up, sweet. Still on the roller coaster.
Exactly. And looking at the rest of the markets today, you know, we have this sorted by 24-hour. Is it? No, this is sorted by market cap. Market cap. So everything's pretty red today. Yeah.
I'm surprised to see Dogecoin, Cardano, and Polygon even follow the traditional ones. Like when you just look at this, just look at the image real quick. You can just snapshot that. Bitcoin up top, and then you see Dogecoin, Cardano, and Polygon following, looking almost just like Bitcoin.
Right. And that's because Bitcoin is the market leader. Bitcoin is obviously the biggest market cap in the entire space, and so when profits are made in Bitcoin, people move them to altcoins and try to catch another pump. When people sell off Bitcoin because they took losses, they definitely close their alt positions and wait for the alts to go lower, because that's typically just what happens. So when you're in a bull market, you look back at these times in bear markets where you're like, damn, that's juicy. That's a good entry point. That was really, really good. But the funny thing is, when you're in the bear market, it doesn't look or feel like it's very attractive, because you're like, but is it going to go back up? And so that's the educated, you know, risk required in trading. Like you have to have some fundamental reasons why you think something's going to go back up. And if you have those fundamental reasons and you have a longer, you know, time event horizon, basically you're willing to wait 2 years for that profit to possibly mature, as opposed to just trying to do day trading, you're likely to make your money back, especially knowing that Bitcoin has a halving every 4 years. Every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin introduced into supply is cut by half. And so that means the same amount of people are trying to, you know, get the rewards of half as many coins, which typically increases the valuation of those coins, you know, in the year to come. So that's what we've kind of consistently seen. So any other thoughts from you, Don?
No, let's kick it off. What are we talking about today? See some crypto hacks?
Well, we're gonna hit the WTF news real quick, because it's kind of funny. Looks like this lady in California, Sacramento, she just keeps getting like electric space heaters. They just keep coming to her house, and she has this huge trash can full of electric space heaters. She's had 100 packages come to her place, and they were looking into this, like, why is this happening? And she was going through Amazon, she was going through local police department, and nobody could give her answers. I mean, she eventually reached out to ABC News, and you know, they helped her with forensics to get into why that all was happening. And it turns out there was an Amazon store that listed her home address as the return the return address.
wow.
So anytime people got one of these space heaters and like, no, this is trash, they'd send it to her house.
Did it have her name on it?
No. And so like the law from the FTC states that if you receive mail that does not have your name on it, or you did not intend to purchase it, you do not owe them any money for it, and you can do whatever you want. It's your property.
I thought you couldn't open someone else's mail.
It's not someone else's mail if there's no name on it.
I'm saying, but it didn't have her name. Did it have anyone's name on it?
Nope.
So she's just playing Russian roulette with like anthrax.
If it was sent to your mailbox, apparently the law is that it's your property.
Oh, because it did have her address on it.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I'm opening up a swap shop and I'm going to town.
Dude, what's crazy to me though, is just throwing these things in the trash. They probably work. Like I would just donate them to Goodwill or something. Get the tax write off.
Yeah, that to me looks like a house fire. that small plug-in one she just had, like that looked dangerous. But yeah, why don't you can donate them, sell them, like.
She just threw them away. She's got like a dumpster full of these things, and she's saying she gets like 2 or 3 of these boxes like every day, and has consistently.
That's hilarious.
So she's just throwing them in the trash. It's like, yeah,
that's absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I've thought about doing some of this to like a friend or something, just like have large quantities of very bizarre things to send to them with no context, but. Like I haven't done it yet, but I think when I do catch a big pump and I have some YOLO money, I might do some goofy stuff with it. But yeah, and I appreciate the Code Bug here. What's up, dude? He said, aren't we going into the crypto holiday? We expect red days for the first couple weeks of January, or do I have my time wrong? Yeah, that tends to happen. And that's specifically because of proof of keys. So in January, sometimes a little earlier, people do what's called proof of keys. And what that means is everybody takes their money off the exchanges and puts them onto like Exodus or a paper wallet or their Ledger or Trezor. And that will cause the volume of money on the exchanges to go down because people are taking their money off the exchanges, right? And so the purpose of that is to make sure, one, exchanges have a little fear in them that, hey, every January people are going to verify that we actually have coins to be able to get off these exchanges. And if you don't, we're not using these exchanges anymore. We're going to toot our little horn and make a big freaking stink of it. So I encourage everybody to do this this week, even today. Get your money off of the exchanges and onto your private custody, either a Ledger or a Trezor. And we have we do have link in the description. We have the ability for you to go directly to Ledger and support our channel and get whatever Ledger hardware that you might need. So these, I'm not going to knock my coffee over like I did freaking last stream. Dang, it sucked. I was showing off the Ledger, showing people what they look like, and I knocked my coffee on my lap. It sucked.
No.
But yeah, and it screwed up the trackpad on one of my laptops. Like, why did I do that? It's so dumb. But yeah, this is a Ledger, right? And so this one's used for dev purposes, so don't get any smart ideas. But there's a little screen on it. The screen works when you plug it in via USB-C. And what this will do is you'll have a PIN code that's specific to this device. To be able to get in, you have a seed phrase to be able to register it with Ledger's back end. And what that will do is cryptographically store all of your private keys. So you'll be able to securely keep all of your accounts on one of these ledgers, and whenever you do want to make a transaction, all you do is plug it into your machine, and your web browser is able to pick it up, and you're able to basically have it work directly with OpenSea or directly with whatever tools you're using. It'll say like, do you approve this transaction? You'll say, yeah, I approve it. And what it will do is just real quickly, it'll inject that code, so you're not having to type these long strings of random numbers and symbols and letters in, right? It'll send it over with your approval. Pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's the WTF news, though. Make sure you sell stuff on the internet if you get free stuff at your house. That's the takeaway. So our hot story for the day. We actually have a few, but Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. So he got his Twitter hacked. He probably didn't have two-factor authentication like a freaking noob, and he probably had some password that was like O'Leary's dick is big 4 or something. And I'm guessing that'd be his password. I don't know. But yeah, it seems the Twitter account of Kevin O'Leary, star of television show Shark Tank, has been hacked by scammers who are pushing a giveaway of both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Indeed, on December 29th, the account pinned a tweet about a supposed giveaway and instructed followers to click on the picture to join in the event. In succession of tweets, the TV personality followers started to get suspicious due to the volume of tweets and the syntax being used. And that's usually a dead giveaway. Like, you know how people talk, and if they start saying stuff that's really out of character, it might not be them. It might be a dude named Santish who's hiding in a basement somewhere. Shout outs to Santish though. Yeah, my account was not hacked. Last night I said on TV that I was going to do a giveaway. Enjoy, period. Another tweet stated, "This giveaway is not fake and is not a scam, and is not scam." Love that.
Yeah, I love broken English for that. Yeah.
My account was not hacked. Space! Exclamation point! Exclamation point! And that's what I love to do. Give a space before your punctuation at the end of the sentence. Yeah, that's what Kevin O'Leary does.
This is not a scam. This is not fake. Like, sweet.
No, really, I'm a real pretty lady who wants to give you sex. Like, oh, okay. I don't believe you. Yeah. So here's the tweet though. This giveaway is not fake and is not scam. Yeah, like Kevin O'Leary would.
My accounts was not hacked. His plural accounts was not hacked.
So Kevin O'Leary loses millions over this FTX collapse. Earlier this month, O'Leary revealed his involvement with the FTX cryptocurrency exchange cost him millions of dollars. Notably, O'Leary was paid $15 million by FTX to serve as a paid advocate for the now bankrupt cryptocurrency exchange, which some people have referred to as fraudulent. He said, "I put about $9.7 million into crypto. I think that's what I lost. It's all at zero. I don't know because my account got scraped a couple of weeks ago. All the data, all the coins, everything. It was not a good investment. Then I lost the money I invested in the equity as well. Those are zeros too." So my guess is he lost big in crypto because he bought high and sold low. And also he didn't do his homework into whether FTX was solvent or not. And that's what I encourage everyone to do before you throw your money into something. Make sure it's solvent. Make sure it actually does what it says it does. And if you lack that sophistication, don't be surprised if you get taken for a ride. Right? I think that's the general takeaway. Do your own research and take it serious, because if you're not doing your own research, you're probably going to get played by someone who assumed you wouldn't, right? So, yeah, I'm really concerned how many people click through that link and actually put in their Bitcoin accounts and then
I don't know,
tied a password in a email address, maybe. I mean, maybe they're trying to fish for people's like Binance credentials or something.
Yeah, people fall for the dumbest stuff. Like, and I even have fake accounts of me going around. It's a few a day, and I'm like this close to just never disclaiming it that it's not me ever again. Like, if you can't tell at this point,
right?
I guess you just gotta learn the hard way.
Yeah, I stupid is as stupid does, right? And here's also interesting view of what happened with Kevin O'Leary here.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean he's on Shark Tank, and so here's what happened. There were shark attacks that happened, and FTX was one of them.
What state is he in?
Well, he's probably in New York, but deep in the Missouri woods, though.
There's shark attacks up there.
There's at least one shark attack. And I do wonder if this Missouri shark attack and even this Illinois shark attack happened at the aquarium.
That's 2 to 10. So there's more than one shark attack here in Missouri.
It's true. It's probably
that's got to be. Does it count like those little redfin sharks that are like this big in an aquarium, like at Petco, and it just like lashed onto your thumb? Does that count?
It doesn't, but it should.
What qualifies as a shark attack?
An aggressive
thing just going in on you.
I don't know. But yeah, Kevin O'Leary, he got shark attacked. So how the turns have tabled. But we have a few scam things to talk about, and unfortunately, this is FTX related. I know I got to put money in a jar every time we use the word FTX, just to prevent us from talking about them too much. But they're honestly charting to kind of carve out how the U.S. government is going to handle regulations. So if it seems like a broken record, unfortunately, there's just a lot of details coming out, and we're trying to keep everyone informed as to what's happening as it's developing, because it will probably affect how our policy works. And
for sure is.
What's up, Gundy? What's up, Crypto Scout? Thanks for hanging out. So the FTX founder reportedly cashes out $684,000 after being released on bail. So he not only paid that, was it 250 million or something like that for his bail?
His bail was it 25 million or 250? Bail is usually a small percentage of that. So maybe I'm thinking 25 million was the actual bail that he posted.
Yeah. But he apparently, while he's out on bail, he cashed out, the better portion of $500,000.
What's he cashing out? What's he cashing out of? I thought he only had $100,000.
He probably, like me, he probably has random crypto wallets he speculation mine too, and forgot them in the couch, and they weren't worth anything at the time. And he looks at them and it's like, oh, should I have a few $1,000s? No kidding.
I do that all the time with $500,000 in my couch.
It happens.
Oh no, another $500,000.
Yeah, you just scratch your butt and find 600K, as one does.
I knew that was there.
Yeah. So my question is, like, who's he slipping this to, right? But keep reading. FTX founders SBF is reportedly cashing out large accounts of cryptocurrency soon after being released on bail. On-chain data suggests SBF has cashed out $684,000 in crypto to an exchange somewhere else while being under house arrest, according to on-chain investigation by DeFi educator Bowtied Iguana. Decentralized finance, or DeFi, analyst Bowtied Iguana took to Twitter on the 29th of December to report on a series of obfuscated wallet transactions allegedly linked to SBF, suggesting that the former FTX CEO could have violated release conditions to not spend more than $1,000. Ooh, he's going to get spanked. This just in. Rich boy believes he's above the law. You're like, really? Wow. According to Bowtied Iguana analysis, SBF's public address on December 28th sent all the remaining ETH to a newly created address. Bowtied Iguana noted that SBF took over the address that was originally owned by Sushi Swap creator Chef Nomi in August 2020. Oh, interesting.
He better cash out.
This
Like literally, put
dude
him in
better go
cash
to
and
Argentina. I don't
start
know.
a new wallet.
To start over.
Yeah, like you have to start putting. Don't match any dollar amounts. Just start putting in DCAing into something, into a new wallet with the cash you just cashed out.
Yeah.
Too many people are onto them.
So this is a good example of like a lot of these cryptocurrencies are not anonymous. They're pseudo anonymous, meaning, yeah, I don't know who this number is unless I do, right?
Right.
Like I don't know this address unless they give me some data to correlate it with, right? So
Yeah.
But
if he pulls out 684,012 cents, and then all of a sudden there's a new wallet with that exact same amount being created and dumped into.
Yeah, and that's what centralized exchanges are really probably doing. They're probably trying to get people's, personal identifiable information, and they're trying to create correlations between certain accounts. They can say, hey, if this wallet that's associated with this personal identifiable information sends money anywhere, then just know that those wallets are related to this person, right?
Mm-hmm.
Either someone they know or someone they've done business with, or that's one of their wallets. So that's why a lot of people have been either mining or paying for, a mining contract. So other people basically, they're like renting hash rate. That way they can mine fresh coins to a wallet that has no history and has no PII associated with it. So
yeah,
I'm not saying that to give anyone ideas as to what they should or shouldn't do, but people do that for those reasons. So yeah. So as the Ethereum blockchain is an immutable public ledger, the on-chain evidence is permanently available to law enforcement and courts, Bowtie Iguana stated, calling attorneys from the United States Securities and Exchange Commission to look at the issue. Confirmed to be related to SBF or not, the transactions do not necessarily mean the FTX founder has violated bail conditions, according to some industry enthusiasts. I don't know that this qualifies as spending money. They're his assets already. So that's the criteria, right?
Yeah, but that's what they're trying to figure out right now is what's considered spending. Because technically when you make a transaction or exchange, you sold one and bought another.
Yeah, and I mean, let me ask this thought experiment. Like, if I were to give you private keys to a wallet, and then I were to send money to that wallet, and you were to do a service for me, would I be paying for a service?
So let's just pretend all your crypto is stored on your Nano. And you give me your Nano, but then you put more money on that Nano.
I wouldn't even have to do that. Let's say I give you the private keys to one crypto wallet. And so you can add that crypto wallet to your wallet, right?
But all I have is access, right? All I have is the password. I have the login information.
You have the private keys, meaning you own that account. You can send.
Anybody who owns the private keys owns that account. It's just the login. Okay.
And so, well, it's the key to be able to change data.
As I'm saying, it's access.
Yeah. And so if I were to give that to you, and I were to say, hey, I need you to take this, trash out for me, air quotes. If I send this money to your this wallet I just gave you, and you have keys to it, and you validate that the money is there, you do me a solid, I'll add some more money, afterwards. But technically, I didn't. It's my wallet. I was just sending money to it. Like that's the type of stuff I see happening here.
Yeah, because so in that case, but just pretend we got a treasure chest full of cash. It's got a padlock with the number code on there. You said, hey, the number code is 2323. I now have access. I can go in there. I can pull money out anytime I want. You added more money in there. I just took the trash out for you. Well, that's still technically your treasure chest, right? Until there's some kind of title or deed that says that is mine now, or until I take over, and I'd have to change I can't change the keys, can I?
No, that's the question. It's like, is this technically purchasing if you use loopholes? I don't know, but
That loophole's gonna have to be fixed because, yeah, technically you're just adding more money to your own savings account, one that I have access to. So when it comes to tax reasons, you can't write off that you paid me because technically you didn't.
right. Yeah, and I think stuff like this happens, and that's good. Tony's like, don't make. Yeah. You don't really get to say it in exactly what your private keys are, but you could certainly set your ledger code to some stupid numbers.
I
I
would
go
just
into my
make mine
ledger with
7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I would
Good
just make
password.
mine 7. I mean,
It has
what's
to be
the
at least,
number?
at least 4 characters.
Yeah, well,
So,
3 zeros and a 7.
yeah.
It'd be hilarious if someone's got you at gunpoint and they're like, "What's the number?" And you're like, 7. They think you're the biggest smartass in the world. It'd be
You
funny.
feeling lucky, punk? Yeah. Yeah. So the alleged SBF linked transactions occurred about a week after SBF was granted bail, with $250 million bond secured by SBF's parents, paid with equity on their house.
Okay,
SBF
I like
previously claimed that he only had $100K in his bank account after the collapse. Dang, only
People
100K.
get stuck on this. He claimed to only have 100K. Like, the guy committed fraud over billions. Who cares what he says he has in his bank account? Like, do you believe the guy, like, at all
Mhm.
anyway? Like,
When it says in his bank account, you're like, that doesn't mean he doesn't have more bank accounts. That just means in that bank account.
that's true. That is very vague. He has 100 grand cash, but then he's got 1 million crypto accounts with everyone's FTX money still in it.
Yeah. So this news comes soon after the government of Bahamas officially announced that local authorities seized $3.5 billion worth of crypto from FTX on November 12th. The authorities claimed that the action was taken in order to avoid a risk of imminent dissipation of funds after SBF warned about cyber attacks on FTX in mid-November. So
Yeah, he made a deal with them that they could pull their money out first.
this dude's sloppy.
Okay. That's why he didn't die in the Bahamas, I bet.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta wonder. He's
Well,
got
he
friends in
basically
the
said-
high places for sure.
Basically said, "Hey, something's about to happen. You guys might want to get your money off now." So they were first in line to the game of
Mm-hmm.
first come, first serve. That's some pretty important information to have. Like, hey, this is about to crap, and everyone thinks it's not fair. But had everyone got that news, they would be first in line, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Like no one would
No
think
doubt.
twice.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And this FTX stuff just keeps like involving other parties, which just means it had its tentacles into a lot of people. So yeah. So the FTX contagion goes on. Midas Investments closes down. So Midas Investments suspended services on its platform following the Celsius and FTX crashes. The cryptocurrency. Wrong button on my keyboard. We're good. We do it live. I got to tell you, it's live. Yeah, that's what you get for live shows, man. So CEO said the organization will aim to focus on new projects next year and will be fully transparent and will offer improved investment experience. Yeah, you'd hope a lot of companies are going to learn from what the hell happened here, right? Like, there's so much avoidable nonsense if you just follow good practices of doing what you say you'll do. Amazing. So another victim. So in a recent blog post, Midas Investments founder and CEO said that the company shut down services on its platform yesterday, December 27th. It disabled customer withdrawals for a few hours to conduct necessary calculations and later allowed users to withdraw their remaining funds with adjusted deductions. Levin revealed that the entity's initial goal was to deduct 48% from clients' balances, but later changed the figure to 55%. We will adjust user balances by balancing remaining liabilities in BTC, ETH, and stablecoins, with remaining assets deducting 55% and rewards earned. So balances in digital currencies, including BNB, Avalanche, and Phantom, will not be impacted. The company will also distribute Midas tokens as compensation to affected customer base on their deducted accounts or amount. Oh, that's nice. So you give me a shit coin if I have a problem. That's comparable, right? Hey, I got a good idea. I got a good idea. I'm gonna take your car, but it's cool. I gave you a bunch of donkey coin. It's totally gonna be worth a bunch later. Thanks for the car, right? Like, it's
This
like
IU was done in a very special gel pen.
very special. By the way, I've been using a gel pen recently, and it's nice. These Papermate Inkjoy gels. These are nice pens.
Is that the one I have? Papermate Ink Joy.
Oh boy,
Those things are amazing. I was gonna say, like, I don't care what pen you're about to say. Like, I'm about to show you one that's gonna destroy. But
it's nice. We're pen brothers. Yeah. So Levin believes retail and institutional clients will significantly increase their interest in decentralized finance in the next 5 years. Yeah, this is going to happen. Like, back this up. People were super into mining when the getting was good, right? So we showed earlier in the stream, 2017, we had this huge pump up. People were making some stupid money mining Bitcoin, and it wasn't very risky at the time. You could honestly just buy an ASIC, plug it in, and you'd have money on the exchange you could sell for cash, right? That's funny. Data and done. Yeah. Well, everybody else is on vacation right now, so we're loving them well by giving them some family time. You know. We all work really hard, and I'm a nerd and do this anyway, so I might as well hang out with you guys. So people were making a ton of money off of mining, and then people were making a ton of money off of ICOs, and then people were making a ton of money off of NFTs. But right now, it's not so easy to make a ton of money off of any of those vehicles, and it's just because saturation. There's been too many people who are doing those things. And in the case of like NFTs and in the case of ICOs, they were mostly scams. Mm-hmm. It's not really easy to scam mining because it's proof of work. But at this point in time, it's really expensive to mine. You have to find an area that has, the right legal regulations, the right power availability, the right power costs. You have to be able to find people to work at the location, to scale it up, people who understand a bunch of different skill sets. And if you don't execute that well, you lose your investment. So because that's become more difficult to get into mining, we've seen big investors shy away from that specifically, and they're going to be looking at things like DeFi. Because DeFi allows you to do a few things. I know staking is not exactly DeFi, but they are similar and they are related. In staking's case, they're like, okay, so I can throw $12 million into this account, lock it down, and I make money on that. And in the case of DeFi, so I take $12 million and I lock this money into a liquidity pool, and we can lend it out to people for their trading on margin and what have you. And we can just make hand over fist interest on this crypto. Like, yeah, let's do that because it's on smart contract. I can't get spoofed out of this. The only risk is that the cryptocurrencies, price over the dollar will fluctuate. But looking at what the ranges are to be within the time event horizon, a lot of people are going to say, yeah, that's worth doing, and they're going to make a lot of money doing it. So I agree with Levin here when he says he believes institutional clients will significantly increase their interest in DeFi in the next 5 years. That's absolutely going to happen, and this is one of the things that's our goal in this next 3 months is to really educate our whole community on DeFi, what exists out there, how they can get involved, what kind of scams have happened, and what sort of opportunities have risen, right? If you educate yourself with all those, you're going to see the opportunities when they pop up. So the CEO apologized to all customers harmed by the platform's closure. He raised hopes that the planned amendments will be the best solution to the current problems. So this is not the end, but rather the beginning of something new. That's so beautiful. It's like a graduation speech. I can
You probably don't know who Vitamin C is.
I can just hear Pachelbel's canon being played, you know.
Who was that? Was it? Didn't Vitamin C? She had one song. Anybody my age knows it. Wasn't it like everyone's graduation? Yeah, that song. God, you don't need to sing any more of it because
well,
the rest of the time. But
that was Pachelbel's canon, and then she sung words over it.
Oh,
yeah, it's a piece of classic music that. Yeah, but I understand the difficult decision to close Midas, and I apologize to anyone who lost money. Oh, that's good. It's good you said sorry. All my money's back. Thank you. This is FTX energy. Like, we apologize to anyone who lost money. We're really sorry. We hope that brings your account balance back into a. I'll do my best to make sure you can recoup your losses in the new project. And that, dude, I mean, that's.
If you're ready for round 2, don't worry. Next time will be much better.
Yeah.
I'll be much more efficient at taking your money.
Yeah. I mean, trust me, better. I'm on a new blend of street drugs, and I'll abuse you differently this time. Yeah. Right? You're like, I'm getting a restraining order.
Yeah. I know heroin's bad. We're gonna try cocaine next time. It's gonna be great.
We mixed a few things. We don't know what they are, but yeah, it should be better. Yeah.
Sudafed is very hard to digest. Take apart, okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah. Anthony Yale talking about Pachelbel's canon. He says it's a circle of fifths. It is. It is the circle of fifths. That's why people are so bored playing it. It's not a very interesting piece, but it does sound like you're graduating. And in this case, you're graduating from Midas, who took your money. And you got a degree called I will not invest in shitcoins. And you have a bachelor's in not investing in shitcoins. Congratulations. So what causes the issue, right? Levin said the company lost around $50 million this spring, and users withdrew a large chunk of holdings after the collapse of former crypto giants Celsius and FTX. Midas Investments sought fundraising and other options to cope with the crisis, but none of those managed to cease the downturn. Despite these efforts, the extensive withdrawals due to the insolvency of Celsius and FTX, coupled with reduced yield opportunities in the market, made it impossible for us to cover daily payouts to users due to the assets deficit. So what they mean is they played with funny money and they didn't actually have money in the bank like they said they would. That's what that says.
God, I just want to get a bunch of funny money like these guys.
Yeah. Well,
I could do a lot with that.
Yeah. I mean, all we have to do is just find some virtue signaling, train to ride, and just make a coin for it. And then have a big Facebook ad campaign for whatever trash coin this
Gender
is.
coin probably already exists, right?
Which one?
Gender coin. Buy this coin.
I mean, if we're doing this, we're doing this. Let's look it up.
I'm just saying, like,
there's Gander coin, but there's Tender the currency.
I want to make a male soul coin, a female soul coin. We can make a furry, a unicorn. We can make them all.
Oh, are there furry coins? There's a furry coin.
That doesn't surprise me at all. That one's already there.
That's Fury, not furry. Fury. I don't know. That does say furry. Let's see.
Funny money doesn't last long. Gundy, I would make it last. I would turn it into real money. By the time anyone found out it was funny money, I don't know if they ever would. Because I would. There's no way I would mess
furry
up.
Doge. It's furry Doge on Pancake Swap. So that's how you know it's good. That's how you know it's good. Yeah. And last story for the day. We're going to quickly look at some of the biggest crypto hacks in 2022 because there were crypto hacks. And a lot of these places where people lost money, they weren't really hacks. People might think of them that way because they don't quite understand, but a hack means you're gaining unapproved access to something or using it in an unintended way. As opposed to
people call everything a scam. Like in the trading world, someone lost money, stock market's a scam. Like, no, you were just kind of stupid. There's plenty of scams out there, but just because you signed up to be dumb doesn't make it a scam.
That's fair. Yeah, that's totally fair. So yeah, in 2022, malicious hackers used increasingly advanced techniques to exploit weaknesses in decentralized apps. So
Wait,
on that
I thought we're
point,
supposed to use hackers. Didn't hack a word we're not supposed to use anymore? I thought that was what actual hacker calls it a hack.
are you asking hackers to reveal who they are?
No, I'm just asking. They don't call it hack.
Yeah,
I thought there was a big thing about that.
No, people in the security industry call it hack. They call it hack. They call it exploit. They call it pwning. Mm-hmm.
I have friends that do it, and it was a lot easier before. I think when Windows XP was the easiest, but yeah, if you said hack, they're like, that's not what it's called. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah,
very offended by that.
I'm in the security industry, and there's plenty of people I know who use those language, that type of language. But
Okay.
Yeah, hack just means that you're gaining unapproved access. You're doing things it's not supposed to do. They're also called exploits. Exploits are things that exist in the system that you can use for your own advantage or your own purposes, right?
Or lazy writing in Hollywood.
Yeah, and then there's bugs, which a bug is different. A bug is the developer's fault, right? And you can exploit a bug, right? But I want people to understand that the majority of hacks happen because of copy and paste development. There's so many projects that just go onto GitHub or GitLab. They just fork some project and then they don't really read through the code. All they do is modify the little bit that they want it to do, and that's cool. It's kind of smart in some cases for like maybe proof of concept. But the issue with that is if I know that you forked that code and I've already pwned the source code, I'm able to exploit something that existed in that source, and I know you copied it. I can probably apply the same or maybe a slightly modified version of the same exploit, and I can pwn you too. And so this tends to happen over and over again, and that's why there's bug bounties. Companies will pay you good money if you find bugs in their code. Lazy developing practices is really a big security issue. Total value of assets lost to crypto hacks this year totaled a record of $3 billion, according to security analysts. Here are the largest crypto hacks of 2022 and went wrong leading to each attack. So the Ronin network, they lost $625 million. So Ronin, a sidechain that hosts Sky Mavis Axie's Infinity game. So this was actually a pretty big game. That was exploited for $625 million in various crypto assets. So not just in one place, making it the largest crypto heist to date. Sky Mavis developed Ronin to host its popular blockchain game Axie Infinity, but things took a turn for the worse when the team failed to secure the Ronin network from perpetrators later identified to be North Korea's Lazarus hacking group. So Kim Jong-un's little group here stole $625 million from a video game. That's what happened there. Through an email-based phishing attack, and this is so boring. Please stop getting phished. Oh my goodness, stop getting phished. Look at who sent the email. If you don't know that person, it's probably nonsense. Also, who talks to people on email? Stop.
I will say some of those emails have been good because they've almost gotten not that they've almost gotten. They almost have me even click on it because it'll be like PayPal or Amazon. Hey, your order messed up. And I'm like, what order? But then you're like, wait a second. I'll just go onto the Amazon app and check stuff. But some of the I've got, not that I'm saying it's them. Some of those emails have been, it's from an actual company is how they're disguising it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of ways you can do that. You can have a character that's just a one-off and it otherwise looks the same, but I want you to see the lack of sophistication here, though. People get pwned for the dumbest crap. So through an email-based phishing attack on a former employee, not even a current acting, the hacking group gained access to their IT infrastructure. So can we talk about that piece for a second? They phished a former employee whose access apparently wasn't properly terminated when they left the company. And this group was able to pwn them through a group that should have been. So there's two pieces here. One, the former employee is a dummy for getting email phished. Two, the IT is wrong for not locking down access behind past employees. So rookies. There, the hackers located and stole private keys to Ronin blockchain validator nodes. Oh my goodness. How that makes my stomach hurt. Which the firm stored on its internal servers. When the hacker had access to, can we talk about this? Why aren't these properly on a ledger? They just have plain text private keys chilling.
That's how they roll. It's called big dick energy.
Yeah, that is that's well, Kim Jong-un's coming for that big dick energy. Yeah, when the hackers,
her name is Kimberly. All right,
so I come for you, big boy. When the hackers had access to validator keys, they took control over the entire Ronin network and transferred more than $173,000 or 1,000 ETH and 25.5 million USD stablecoins, totaling 625 million. Fortunately for users who had their funds taken during this incident were fully reimbursed, the firm claimed a week after the hack. Sky Mavis raised 150 million in funding, round led by Binance, combined with its own assets to pay everyone back. So yeah, that hack shouldn't have happened. This was not crypto specific. This is just people being bad at IT, right? So FTX, yeah, we know what happened there. Wormhole attack. This is a big thing that I think we should probably cover in its own right on another stream, and same with Nomad. So I'll tell you what, since this is long and I don't want to disrespect everyone's time here, let's do this. Let's actually have a segment in DCTV in the next month where we'll just go over different hacks that have happened and explain them and discuss. If that interests everyone, do let us know in the comments that you want to see more about how hacks worked and how they're resolved and what can be prevented in Dirty Shovel Gang operational security.
That could probably almost be its own video in itself with its own title. Just because the education there with that, this is how this email got you. This is how this happened. Especially when it comes to crypto, we know the answer is going to be get it off exchange. Even just the repetitive, making each one of those its own video would end up being a good idea, I think.
Yeah, I see a lot of value in just actually educating people. But let's get into birthdays, as we call it, for this beautiful year of 2022. I'm so glad we rebooted DCTV. I'm so glad this community is starting to really grow and connect and do some cool stuff. Really grateful for everybody. And here we have LeBron James, 37 years old, basketball player. Ellie Goulding, everyone knows her and her music being played on the radio. She's 35 years old and still looks great. Tiger Woods is still a pervert and he's 46. And then Tyrese Gibson, he's an R&B singer. Tyrese, he's 43.
Is he doing okay? Or is it maybe I was thinking of DMX. Which one looked really
DMX passed away this year.
I know, but I saw one. I guess it was before DMX passed away, which I guess was fairly, in my book, that was fairly recent. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it just looked rough.
Yeah, that happens if you make bad decisions. The brilliant skateboarder Ryan Sheckler, he's 32 years old. And DCTV is not going away anytime soon. So keep calm, huddle on, let's have a happy new year. And if anything exciting happens, you'll see it in the shorts.
Exciting, not like a DUI. So
yeah, if anything exciting happens, you'll see it in my shorts.
Yeah.
That was the last joke for the year. Sorry, guys.
Have a good one.